pitch is going to be Hipstreet, joining us from Canada, represented by Moe Kirpalani, if I pronounce it right.
Yeah.
And Moe, you have 20 minutes. I suggest you divide it into 10 minutes presentation and 10 minutes Q&A, but the division of the time and the ratio is fluid and it's completely up to your preference. So I will just remind you 3 minutes before the time slot ends, so we have time for last questions.
Perfect.
And for you guys watching, and also for those watching offline, we will share the contacts with Moe and of the distributors' contacts through the emailing later on. So don't hesitate to chat us in the chat here. And now the floor is yours, Moe. I will share the screen.
Much. No pressure there, right? So guys, well, thank you very much for being available. I want to talk about a little bit of background as Healthwise. The backstory is we've designed and manufactured, actually we designed polymers for antimicrobial products almost 15 years ago. Well, it was a great conversation at that point, but nobody cared, to be very open with you, right? And this is my third company. So I've exited 2 companies, built them from zero, took them to 100 million plus and sold them. So we realized, hey, we have this technology. We know what we can create. What do we do with this? So we went ahead and essentially launched a brand called Healthwise. We registered that brand and we acquired it. And we've made a profile of product that is suitable for 2 areas. Obviously, in your world, the medical area matters most, right? So maybe, Christoph, you can just swing through the next page, please. Thank you. So we've divided into more device protection, enterprise protection, meaning the keyboards and the keyboards and these antiviral screen protectors for hospitals, right? And that's the general idea of the packaging, etc., right? The whole idea here is that because of COVID, we see a tremendous market opportunity. So if I was to distill it down into 3 areas for the medical purposes, Christoph, next page, if you don't mind, please. Yeah, is the next one, sorry. Thank you. If you look at the product, we've got the testing done on the cases and the device protection for ISO 22196. We have gone for the screen protection, we're the only company that actually has an antivirus, as far as I know, is the only company that has an antiviral screen protector. Now, this has been tested against a surrogate of the COVID virus. So we're all familiar that the COVID virus is an envelope virus, and we have actually tested against the surrogate of that. So we're the only company doing that. And we're having lots of conversations with people in the medical industry about this, right? So Christoph, would you just flip over to the keyboard page? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. The keyboards, yeah. So this is just an idea of the products, guys. I know this is basically a retail sort of presentation, but when it comes to enterprise, hospitals require, at least what we're seeing, that hospitals are requiring antimicrobial because it's the first sign of infection control. So the 2 areas we're looking for distribution partners are in our antiviral screen protectors and on our antimicrobial washable keyboards and mice. Does that make sense? Right? So I think I'll stop there and I'll wait for some questions. I'd rather have more questions so we can try and answer any questions people may have. Mm-hmm.
Hi, could you describe your business model, please, for us?
Sure. So our model is we're looking for global distribution partners where we become the IP company. We only focus more on IP. We manufacture the product, ship FOB Hong Kong, and they take delivery and manage the country.
Great. And your proprietary proposition, could you be more specific?
Sure.
Way of differentiation and what, secondary question, what segments of customers are you focusing on?
Perfect. So we have divided the business into 2 segments. One is the consumer segment, meaning the Best Buys and the Targets of the world. That's where we have past relationships. And then we have the enterprise segment, which is basically the medical space. For instance, we've assigned the dental distribution in the US to all the dentists through one distribution partner. So we're doing vertical in the US and global we're doing by country, right? And to answer your first question on the proprietary stuff, because we have the antiviral protection capability that's very unique. The polymer is patented by us. It's our patent. We own all that patents on that. And but the advantage is that we have at least, I think, a 6-month advantage before anybody else can step in, because creating the virus, testing it, and going through the procedures takes at least 6 months. So that's that. And who knows, 2 years from now, what people are going to do. But what the feedback we're getting from the US is that this habit is not going to change. People are going to start becoming more and more hygiene friendly, more and more, sanitization used to be a good conversation piece. Now it's become more important. So we're fortunate to be in the right space and having the right ingredients, right? So does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah. Any other questions?
So, Murray, it's me, Benny. Just a bit of a technical question. How is the antimicrobial activity of the cover achieved? I mean, are there any chemicals ingrained in the? How does it work?
So what we do is, when it comes to plastics and ABS, we put in our polymer as part of the extrusion process. So it's a permanent solution when it comes to manufacturing, right? When it comes to screen protection, we have to apply a coating on top, right? That coating typically lasts anywhere between 9 and 12 months. So we actually are working on an app where you can measure the number of touches, and we're working with Google right now to say we can measure the number of touches and send out a message to the provider saying, hey, you can upgrade your device again to keep your protection updated. So that's also our patent. We have a patent on that technology too. So and this is where it becomes a recurring revenue opportunity when it comes to global distribution, right? Because hospitals are the ones that will be most concerned about this. And again, it's not limited to hospitals. Like I just mentioned, every dental clinic we're talking to, it's become, anytime there's a shared device anywhere, people are going to be more conscious now. So we want to ride the wave, really.
So just to understand, when you showed the keyboard,
yeah,
is there a thin plastic film that goes over the keyboard, or is it?
So we have two options. We have built a keyboard cover that's antimicrobial that goes over existing devices and keyboards. And then we have a keyboard that is antimicrobial washable. And that keyboard is essentially the antimicrobial polymer is part of the extrusion process. So it's embedded inside.
Embedded inside.
Correct. And in that case, those keyboards, you will never lose the efficacy. Because we have, in fact, I'll share more data with you guys, but we have done abrasion testing on the keyboards and gone through the motions to figure out would the efficacy go down even by 1% over the next 5 years conceivably, and it hasn't happened.
Wow.
The whole idea of this is if I'm going to sell you a device that's going to be longer term, it's got to be permanent, right? But on the screen protection, because you're coating it on the glass, right, it's very difficult to embed it. And we don't want to take a risk of saying there's a maybe, because it's a medical application, right? I want to be sure that, hey, this is the application. We expect this to last for about a year. And very openly, at least for us in the US and Canada, people are saying, look, if it lasts permanently in the screen protection, people won't upgrade. We want them to upgrade. So it becomes an opportunity for them too. It's a recurring revenue. But on a keyboard, very hard to change once you're comfortable. The whole strength we have is we have antiviral, which is really a global first. We have patents on the actual polymer and the composition, and we have a patent on the recurring revenue opportunity. Plus, we understand retail very well, so that part of it we have that covered. I mean, every retail customer right now is like, okay, how do I do this? What do we do? What should be our structure? And we're not getting any pushback. I mean, very openly, we're even talking to clients in China. It was surprising because we had a major client in China, a telecom provider, and he said, "Can I add this as part of my solution?" And we were like, yeah, but I said, you can't manufacture it because once I give that to you, I don't want to reverse engineering, right? So, yeah. So, but it was a very open conversation. So we're going to have a partnership with them too. It's a massive entity. Like we're talking about, they do about 50 million phones. So
I have a question. Is it changed
Sure.
daily or a couple of times per day?
Sorry?
How often do you change the covers?
You don't need to change the cover at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Once you put it on, it's permanent. That's it. It's good. That's the beauty of the technology, right? So.
Oh, and let me ask you a question. What is your experience with the healthcare sector, with the electronics in healthcare?
We don't have experience with healthcare, but we're starting to develop relationships with healthcare everywhere. Yeah, we don't have experience. Yeah.
And what kind of level you are targeting the strategy?
Sorry, say that again.
What kind of level of the healthcare industry?
So we are talking. So what we have done is we have segmented our team has segmented the market into different verticals. So a dental vertical, the HCAs of the world, which is the healthcare vertical, is separate, and then the retail is separate. So what we're doing is we're not going to sell the retail product in healthcare. It'll be a slightly different SKU, right? Because the last thing we want is people going to Amazon, looking at the price points and coming back and saying that this is good or not, right? So we're very clear that we want segmentation by either country or segmentation by vertical. We're building. I mean, I've done this twice before. So we built a brand. So this is a company that we will build to about $100 million. That's our objective.
I actually ask you as a another experienced professional in this area, how does it actually work? Like, how is it possible that there is no barriers catching up to the keyboard?
Say that again. There's no barriers.
How is it possible that there is no virus catching up to the keyboard?
So it's not, we're not saying there's no virus. We're saying it's one more level of protection, right? So if you've got, because it's like this, the same hands that are being used or the gloves that are being used by the hospital staff are being used in different places. And then you go back and touch the keyboard, right? Well, somebody else in theory, every hospital is supposed to have a keyboard washed or cleaned up every night. Well, that doesn't happen in practicality, right? So all you're doing is minimizing the chance of infection, right? So we're providing a resource saying, hey, you cannot have infection here. That's the objective. So our purpose is very clear. We are not replacing your hand washing. What we're saying is you will have one more level of prevention. It's like wearing a mask, right? You can't guarantee you won't get COVID, but at least it's a one layer of protection. And exactly the same in fact, every single device that's a medical device that's out there, right, does not seem to have a protection layer. And these devices are being touched all the time. So because our solution is embedded in the screens, embedded inside the keyboard, it becomes a safety precaution. And we've got all the certifications, everything is done. EPA registered with the EPA, everything is compliant.
Excuse me, if I may.
Please.
I have a question because I cannot understand the concept. I come from the OR background.
Right.
I worked entirely all my life in the OR. And I cannot understand. We know that everything we touch is decontaminated.
Right.
And we know that is no more sterile. I mean, if you touch a sterile, we have a sterile area, and you touch it, even if you're scrubbed and you're clean, completely clean, we know that it's contaminated. Now, right. How can this product, whatever? I'm not doubting anything.
No. Let me answer your question. We use a composition of silver, right? And silver has been proven to have antimicrobial properties.
Hearing me? Hello?
Sorry?
Hello, are you hearing me? Sorry for that. I don't know what happened.
No problem.
How can it remain antimicrobial sterility, sort of, to say 99
Right.
effective, 99.96% effective, when you touch it with not so clean hands all the time?
Right. Because we use a composition of silver, and silver
Okay.
has proven antimicrobial capabilities. What we do is because we are in, say for instance, on a keyboard, we're embedding it inside the extrusion process itself. So we've gone through a lot of testing on the plastic to make sure that it's not coated on top. It's inside the extrusion process when you manufacture. So it becomes embedded as part of the product itself. That's the advantage.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be happy to send you more data sheets on that. Happy to do that. And we also have the ability to wash the keyboard. So, you literally wash it anytime you like, no problem. You can dip it in water, not a problem. I don't expect people will do that, but at least we are giving you that level of protection.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is that I'm a computer science engineer with a specialty in material science. So I've done this for long enough to say, look, I know the solution. I'm happy to share any data sheets, technical information you may need. Happy to share that with you. Because we've done so much work on it. Like it's absolutely, like, even the EPA, we talk to EPA regularly. They know exactly what we need.
Can I confirm that we will be in touch for the materials? Sorry, Jonathan. Go ahead.
You do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So silver has this property. Silver has an amazing property of being antimicrobial, and we have managed to combine it with stuff which is our secret sauce, where we can put it on as part of the extrusion process. That's the advantage. Our ask is like this. I don't know the audience in this place right now, but in the meeting right now, but I'd love to understand globally from a distribution perspective, who could be potential partners. Obviously, Jonathan is one, but we want to market. We want to have select partners in territories.
Okay, guys, we have time for one more question. One last question.
We will follow up directly with you for Central Europe. Yeah, definitely love your product.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate the call. Thank you. Thank you, Christoph. Thank you very much for setting this up.
Thank you very much for presenting, Moe. It was very fascinating, and we will be in touch.
Just call me Mo. It's much easier.
Moe. Okay.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.